Remember I told you the other day that I'm not going to do the vlogs as the vloggers do it, just because I don't understand why shall you just walk around talking about nothing. Basically, it can be a lifestyle vlog, for example, but you still have to have some intention in making that vlog, because it's just pointless speaking about nothing. So, shall we call this vlog number 1? But it's not gonna be a vlog. It's gonna be a sensible vlog, because I'm going to show you. I actually moved in here to. This is the district called Litha in Sochi. Very residential, nothing interesting. There is nothing to do here. Last time I went for a run was in the beginning of summer, because there are no places to run, and I only run outside. I don't like to run in the gym or anywhere, so kind of not a very suitable place for, if you want to maintain some healthy lifestyle, something like this. Healthy and trendy lifestyle, because again, it's all, the entire district is up on the mountain, so there are no running tracks or no sports grounds or anything. It's very residential, pretty cheap, no good housing, all the people are demotivated, I don't know, to develop or whatever. But you have seen the flat. It's a very lovely flat. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but still planning to change, to relocate at some point. Yeah, and when I moved here in the middle of May, I realized that all the hiking trails and a lot of things are really not far from here. The city center is a few kilometers to the right. If you look at this is Kurortny Prospect. So the city center is a few kilometers to the right, and everything to the left that would be to the mountains. So lots of hiking trails can be found there. First ever video that I made, full-size video, was to Macesta. That way, I have to go to Macesta. It's also a couple of kilometers, 3-4 kilometers to the place. But today we are hiking. Not really hiking. I'm planning to walk to Macesta, and of course not along the prospect, but we are going to take TERRAINKUR. It's a walking trail along the coast of the sea. I will show you along the walking trail, because it's a historical one, and it was made in the somewhere in the middle of the Soviet times, crossing the places of former dachas of rich citizens, or probably of rich Muscovites who had country houses here. So, and across the lands of these former dachas, they have made a trail for walking named TERRAINKUR. I will show you a little bit of that one today. And this road takes us to the sea, and after that we are turning left once we've reached the end of these stairs, and all the way to the left it will be that hiking trail, walking trail. No, maybe it's the last time I'm able to wear my shorts. See? Today is the 10th of October. The 10th of October, it's plus 20 degrees, and I don't expect that weather in November. It's around 5:30 now. I just finished my work day at about 4 o'clock today. It's a Sunday, by the way. I'm really busy these days, really busy. But I know what I'm working for. I want to get that flat of mine to be a proper Sochi citizen. In December it's gonna be 1 year since I moved here. And actually I would love to go to Crimea for my winter holidays because I haven't been. Looks interesting. I just took a look at a couple of photos of Yalta yesterday, and it unfortunately seems that it's a lot more rundown than, for example, anything here in so-called mainland Russia, because after the breakup of the Soviet Union, and this is the beginning of the walking track. So after the breakup of the Soviet Union, Ukraine was not doing that fine, and you can see actually that life in Crimea as a part of Russia this time is really different from life here, and they are not doing as fine. We are not doing so fine, but they are doing worse. Sounds like that. And I was looking at the hotels yesterday and didn't find anything appropriate for the proper price, so I will just, I don't know, maybe, but I am intending to go because it would be just very cool to go to I don't know, to Yalta, for example, which I wanted to visit for winter holidays. That would be just very cool. Yeah. So, and there are no flights, direct flights from Sochi to Yalta, so maybe I'll have to book a bus ride. It's cheap though. I don't care if that's a bus or a plane. Yeah, it takes about 19 hours though. But it's okay, I suppose. It's cheap anyway. So let's see. And do you remember that place called Actor Galaxy? And also Bali. Let's see. We might go to one of these places once again, but I'm really on a very tight budget today. Yeah, so let's see. But we are going to end up in Matesta. This walk is ending up in Matesta. Here there are some tennis courts. It's the territory of some sanatorium. Yeah, right here. There are plenty of sanatoriums in Sochi. Tin, 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 tin. Yeah, I used to play before moving to Sochi, when I was living in St. Petersburg, and I didn't have to rent a flat. I was playing tennis a little. I was just taking lessons. Yeah, so probably I'll have to save up a little and get back to lessons. Get back to tennis practice. Yeah, what else I was doing? Horseback riding. Before moving to Sochi again, I was taking all these classes. Well, okay, I learned how to trot. I learned how to canter on a horse. Never learned how to do it well though, but I learned how to do it. And also I did one jump. So probably I'll have to get back to those as well as tennis lessons. You know, I will tell you a little bit about how common it is to boast in Russia. So, for the old Russians, you know, old cultured Russians who were brought up in the culture of the, let's say, imperial times, not Soviet times. For a, so to say, well brought up person or a cultured person, there is a term "воспитанный" in Russian, which would mean well brought up. Unlike, for example, what is very common in the United States, for example, once you've gotten something, you are boasting and bragging and showing off. And among some Russians too, and among some maybe some people of other nationalities, if you have gained something, if you, for example, have a Porsche car or some, I don't know, fancy new phone or something, like if you newest iPhone or MacBook, you would show it off to at any occasion possible. This is not what it is for a воспитанный Russian. They don't like to show off. They just, everything they have, they just have it. And if you see it, if you like it, that's nice. But they are not intentionally showing it off. It's considered rude, maybe, or like impolite to show it off. You just have it. Why showing it off? Like that. And also, if you have, I don't know, some good education, or if you've got some skill, for example, that some other people don't have, you don't show it off. They are supposed to see it. Yeah, if they don't see it, it's their problem, something like that. But it's not very common to brag about that, you know. I'm getting my tennis lessons and so on, or I don't know, I'm taking my horseback riding lessons in a manner of bragging about it. I find it awkward. Yeah, I don't do it, something like that. So it's a little bit not very polite towards other people, especially if they don't do it. So you would never say, you would never boast about something that you have, for example, to a person that doesn't have it, and you would never boast intentionally. Look, man, I have it and you don't. Something like this. It's just impolite. So it's, and I really like this, you know, comfort zone. A comfort zone for me is this zone where you have something but you don't show it off. You don't boast about it. You just have it. And like people who are this sort of people, they just see it and they understand. Yeah. If they don't see it, then why? So okay, they don't see it. It's just okay. I don't have to shout out loud, you know. Hey guys, look at me, I have it. Something like this. No, it's just I have it. I have it for me, not to show it off. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's some. I really love about this old cultured people. It's just so amazing. As I am originally from St. Petersburg, from Leningrad region. I was born in the city named Leningrad, which before Soviet Union collapsed, that was the name of St. Petersburg. Yeah, the Soviet name of St. Petersburg, Leningrad. So I was born in that city that does not exist anymore. That's called St. Petersburg these days. Yeah, something like this. I'm kind of bragging now because it's considered cool, to be born in St. Petersburg. At least I consider it nice. And if there's some, like, in any country there is some sort of mutual understanding between people. If, for example, you say, I'm from St. Petersburg and another person is from the same place, and probably you have the same sort of upbringing, so you kind of on the same terms. You can understand one another because you're speaking in the same language, so to say, because you were taught in the same manner in the school, something like that, and just you had the same standards, something like that. And if you are speaking with a person from another region, that's probably you have to find that common ground, and it's not just exactly the same as the common ground with the person from the same place. And again, in St. Petersburg there are different types and types of people, and of course not everybody is well brought up, so to say. It's very interesting. You see, I came to some nice viewpoint along the track, along the way. Somebody's cruising. I can't say I have a very good family though. If you assess families in terms of good or bad, I don't know what this would be. I would say that I come from a very difficult family. I do not keep contact with them. They did not behave at the time like my family, so I know little of the both worlds. Look, have you seen the moon over there? And the sun setting. These areas, I understand, are all the gardens of the former Dutch owners, but I might be mistaken. Yeah, I haven't really read a lot about it. Now in Sochi there aren't that many rich people as used to be. There are just lots of ordinary citizens like me, for example. Yeah, but there are some very wealthy neighborhoods, though, and very cool locations too. Some of them are very new, like for example winter skiing resorts up in the mountains. They are not really residential, though. You can rent there and you can live there. Yeah, but really cool locations. And the entire here is about 5 kilometers long. People are getting richer, though. It's cool to do business in Sochi because there are a lot of holiday makers in the summer, so probably it's cool to do something about rest, free time, lifestyle things, and so on. Yeah, here. They say that Sochi people like good cars. Oh, by the way, this is Active Galaxy. Do you remember that apartment complex? Kurortny Prospect goes all the way parallel to our walk. I don't know if you see, but I like this coastline. This coastline is, I suppose that's what you see from Hosta. That's one of the districts of Sochi. It's over there. To Adler, I suppose it's over there. I guess I'm right. It looks kind of urban and cool. Plus the mountains are very picturesque. It says TERRAINKUR, the trail of health trail. It's like in Finland, they've got rocks like that, just, you know, along the roads, because they actually, a lot of Finland is located on the hills, smaller hills, and probably they have some rocky soil or something, and they've got rocks with, when the road is, you know, cut through the rock, and you've got two walls of rock on two sides of the road, and you're passing them through, so to say. It's just cool. Yeah. I just remembered about Finland. If you're from St. Petersburg, it's standard to go on as a short getaway for a few days. Finland is very quiet, relaxing, calm, and if you want this sort of atmosphere, you know, just walking, Scandinavian walking with walking sticks, something like this. If you want to go fishing or go on a boat on the lake, then Finland is a perfect place. In Sochi, people go to Abkhazia. It's just from Adler, which is 30 kilometers away from here. It's just like 3 or 4 kilometers to the border with Abkhazia, which is a republic that I don't know a lot about the history of how everything happened, but it is one of the former republics of Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, but they decided to split because they wanted to be independent. I might be putting it wrong because I don't know a lot about it, but that's what I think actually happened. Don't know, might be wrong though. It's very beautiful there, really beautiful, but it's one of the poorest countries that I have seen so far in my life. Unfortunately, again, after the war, they still haven't recovered yet. But they've got gorgeous mountains, and some places like Novi Afon, for example, are brilliant. Third coffee today. Yeah, I got a little disorganized. Got to get back to my regime and start running for sure. I love coffee because it's easy, you know, just pop into any place, get a coffee, and you're fine. Third coffee today. Too bad. From time to time to go out just for a walk like this, and I think it's cool to go out for a walk every day. Yeah, this road goes up to one of the cool neighborhoods that I really like around here, the area, and Maybe I will show it to you in the daytime because it's very lovely. Also, this is some sort of a cable car going down to the sea. In the Soviet Union, Sochi was a very popular sea resort. So everybody was traveling to Sochi to a so-called sanatorium, which would be like a spa hotel of these days, and this is one of the sanatoriums. And usually they've got quite a huge territory, you know, with great landscaping from back then, from the Soviet times. They all are still working, still functioning, so you can actually... These are the same hotels that you know as hotels, but also they've got huge park around usually. I don't know about the conditions. I don't know if they are all renovated inside, and about the rooms I actually have no idea, but I know that there are some procedures that you can take, like some health procedures. I'm not quite familiar with that. A lot of people still go to sanatoriums, and there are plenty of them in Sochi. Balneological resort in Matsesto. It's one of the famous places around. Some time ago I promised to show you the district that I really like here. This district is called, or I would rather say the street is called Благодатная in Russian, and Благодатная would be translated as all fine street, so it has a name that talks for itself. That's my favorite type of neighborhoods. You know that in other countries is considered normal, but in Russia it's considered posh. Fabulous view on the sea. This reminds me a little of Italy, this a little of California, this a little of a Russian cottage village somewhere, but generally it's just a very lovely neighborhood. I, by the way, booked a place to stay in Yalta in Crimea for the new year. I haven't booked the tickets though yet, but I'm sure I'm going. See? Gardens, they're so small but so cozy. Look, all this exotic trees, it's just so lovely. All of this space around, you know, around the houses. Here there are a couple of blocks of flats. They are not very big, but still some. Guess they're a little more budget than these cottages. Somebody has got oranges in their garden. Oh, see? And now we are higher than those apartment blocks. Just so neat, you know. Oh, it's just so gorgeous, you know? If you go to any outside any big city in Russia and you find any in Russian that's called cottage village or something like this. These are modern cottage villages, and basically outside any city, cottage villages would look somewhat similar to what you see here. Probably you are just used to seeing some cheap blocks of flats when you watch some videos about Russia, but basically there are plenty of areas like this that are very wealthy and good looking, very prestigious as well. It's just people are not informed enough about places like this. You can find all the possible types of architecture here. So for example, those windows look like on the Gothic Abbey or German monastery. This looks like a southern villa somewhere on the Mediterranean. That's a Russian village house beyond the fence. As Russia is a former empire, I guess everybody wants to live in a palace like this. It's so important what house you choose for life, because at least in Russia you are going to pay mortgage your entire life. You don't want to pay for something that you don't really like. But the majority of Russians, even very qualified office workers, they are not able to afford anything around here. Probably they can afford, but they just don't know that such places exist and are popular, and they can afford them actually. I don't know who is actually buying the houses like this, or the flats and the houses like here. I can afford nothing of this. Nothing. It's all about the lack of information. It's just a real disaster. You know, nobody's informed that you can actually be living outside the city in your own house or in a little block of flats, or actually you can be getting a house like this and you can afford that. Why does everybody get a box in this block of flats in Russia, and the prices for the flats soared so high that it's basically impossible to afford a flat anymore. So it's just ridiculous. Paying the same money, you could be getting something way better, 3 times better than what everybody else is getting. The ugly Soviet heritage. Ta-da! That's what I call slums. People don't consider them slums, but I do. It's just terrible. There are so many houses like that's called a panel house. It's like made of little panels like this. It's just a total disaster. It comes from the 70s. A lot of cheap temporary housing, which is not temporary anymore, which has been here, and people have sold the flats, and it's already accumulated a lot of. This house basically costs like a huge sum of money, because people have sold and resold the flats a million times already, and the flats were actually free. I guess they came for free to them. Isn't that ridiculous? But I love the newer houses like this. And imagine that your view from the window is on that slum. But it's not a slum. It's just the same people living in both of the houses. It looks that terrible. See? Myself prefer newer houses like those. If you see anything, do not exist. Oh man, that's just terrible. So far you like everything, right? And then it goes, oh man, I have to be careful. The part of private housing, and then this slum in the middle. What? And then the newer block of flats, which looks really good, but you don't see from here because the zoom is not very good. And then this slum. Oh my goodness, why are you even here? You are ugly, man. But there are a lot of people living there, see? And the people is just absolutely cultured and everything. I believe that. I might be wrong though. I don't know what kind of a slum this is. it might be a slum. It looks like one. I don't know really. I expect to see an architectural mix like this in Yalta, in Crimea as well. 2 more months to go. They sell really good beer here.
Shake that. Yeah.
Сейчас кричать девчонки, да?